नशीनों उठ बैठो, वो वक्त करीबा पहुंचा है, जब तख्त गिराए जाएंगे, जब ताज उछाले जाएंगे। है खाक नशीनों उठ बैठो, वो वक्त करीबा पहुंचा है, जब तख्त गिराए जाएंगे, जब ताज उछाले जाएंगे। अब टूट गिरेंगी जंजीरें, अब जिंदानों की खैर नहीं, जो दरिया झूम के उठे हैं तिनको से निकाले जाएंगे। अब टूट गिरेंगी जंजीरें, अब जिंदानों की खैर नहीं, जो दरिया झूम के उठे हैं तिनको से निकाले जाएंगे। दरबार वतन में जब एक दिन सब जाने वाले जाएंगे, कुछ अपनी सजा को पहुंचेंगे, कुछ अपनी सजा ले जाएंगे।
Ladies and gentlemen, I am prepared to take questions now, as many as possible.
The popular view is that this whole agitation is going on in a way is trying to subvert the democratic system of our great leaders. That is one of the views that is being put forth. And one of the papers today also had an article to this effect saying that why subvert the parliament, which is supposed to be supreme, quote unquote.
Yeah. This is an argument put only to give a constitutional obstacle for the movement that Annaji has started. Let's go to the ground realities. We have accepted democratic republic as the system of political system of governance, where it is internationally accepted that it is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. All 120 crores of people can't go sit in the parliament or in the legislature, so we have adopted a representative form of system. In this system, a member of parliament from your constituency, if he knows in the agenda that is given to him that a particular bill is coming into force, it is his bounden duty to call in mohallas and villages and panchayats. This bill is coming into force. I have to discuss this bill. Tell me your views. It is not the view of that one elected representative that can be put forth in the assembly. It should be the collective view of his constituency, because he must have in mind the benefit or the problems this bill would create for his constituents. Therefore, first realize he is an individual there representing the people, the voters. Okay. Second is most important. He has to openly discuss this bill in the parliament. How many of our leaders have spoken about any bill? Please take under the Right to Information Act from the Parliamentary Information Officer, how many times you are a member of Parliament has stood up and questioned about a bill in a year or in a month? Not standing up. They stand up, they walk out, they do everything. But how many times have they discussed a bill? Let me tell you. Want an example? I'll give you. 23rd of December 2008. 17 bills were passed in 12 minutes. Is this the legislative honesty? Do we expect our legislators to go make bills without even reading the title, without having the draft bill in their hand? Can anybody can pass 17 bills in 12 minutes? I am more concerned about it because out of the 17 bill, one is Amendment to the Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988. The original act is of 47. What did the amendment say? 3 sections which are helping the prosecuting agencies to get a conviction were sought to be removed. Is this what people want? Is this the view of the people that your representative has gone and voted for? Is it the responsibility that is the member of parliament who claims today it is our prerogative to make a bill in the legislature? Let him answer this question before he questions the people of India. How many times has he spoken? If bills are passed, even in Karnataka the other day, quite a few bills were passed in some 20 minutes. Because one side there was dharna going on, other side the speaker reads the bill. He says, aye, one section. Others don't even say anything. This is the system in which our legislators are functioning. In that, do you mean to say that the people don't have a right to say, ask us, discuss with us? Nobody is saying from the civil society that I will come and vote there, I will come and speak there. No. He is saying, I will convince a group which will be there inside the house, which will have to represent the bill and make the members understand. Or maybe for the first time, read the bill out to them. Tell them this is a bill which will affect your right. Wake them up. This type of constitutional, I have heard about it, that very many big journalists have written, are you holding a gun into the head of the parliament to make a bill? If this is the way, I think not the gun, the cannon should be held there. 17 bills in 12 minutes and you still say it's a prerogative and nobody else should not interfere in this matter? Let them not think whole lot of Indians are that foolish enough to accept this type of argument. If they had discussed it, I think they are supposed to meet 60 times at least, I think, in a year. How many times do they really meet? How often do they discuss? Let's take the last session of the parliament. 24 days they discussed only one issue. Who shall investigate 2G scam? JPC or PAC? Both are the parliamentary member committee of the thing only. Amongst them, the competition. The opposition wants JPC. The ruling party wants PAC. 24 days at the cost of 35 crores a day. I have been going to various schools and interacting with schools and colleges. And on the 17th day time, I happened to be in one of the colleges where one student stood up and said, "Sir, what a shame, sir. 17 days, they have not passed a single bill." I said, "You are wrong, young man. Hundreds of bills have been passed. The sitting bills, traveling bills, eating bills, sleeping bills, all have been passed." It is in this position these are our representatives. And I'm sure they must be saying, look here, I have bought this place here. They have the temerity to speak like that. And for 40 odd years, when the first Administrative Reforms Commission recommended a Lokpal for the centre, based on the existing system of ombudsmen in Scandinavian countries, which was there for 200 plus years. 2009 they celebrated bicentenary year. It's based on that. They recommended this system, giving an Indian Sanskrit name for this, Lokpal and Lokayukts. And you all must have read Transparency International results. Out of the top 5 places, all the 4 Scandinavian countries are the most honest countries in the world today. For 200 years plus. Recommendation came in 66. This is the 8th attempt in the parliament. Every time there is some buzz somewhere in the public. What is this? These people are not doing anything against themselves. Corruption in parliament, corruption in... How many scams have come? Note for vote. Such like scams, how many of them have not come out? But no. This is the right time to come out. Let these objections be there. We are saying, hear our voice. You have a justification to reject it? Reject it. Because it should be reflected in the parliament when the discussion takes place. In a democratic system, the difference of opinion is normal. But ultimately it is decided by majority process. Let me tell you, if this agitation had not taken place, this bill would have been one such bill which was passed on 23rd of December 2008. Any more questions?
So, as a Lokayukta, you have been submitting the annual and biannual reports to the government. Does the government scrutinize these reports?
I wish it does. Then it may realize that there is something more to them to do than what they are doing actually. Under the Act, I have to submit an annual report to His Excellency the Governor, and His Excellency the Governor has to send it to both the houses of the legislature, where it should be placed and they discuss. If there is any shortcomings, they can highlight in it and inform the Lokayukta, look, in this area you have not done anything. Or in this area your investigation is not correct or proper. We are prepared to take an adverse report against ourselves, but they have so much of other work to do that what happened on the last session of the parliament happened here also. In June 2010, when certain iron ore went missing, an investigation was proposed. The question arose, who should investigate? The state government suddenly developed a love for Lokayukta and said Lokayukta should do it. Why? Because it didn't want the CBI to come. The opposition said no, it should be the CBI. For 4 days it went on like that. Ultimately they sat there, they ate biryani there, they slept there. This is the respect they show to the house, and if anybody else speaks anything outside, there is a privilege of the house. You have breached the privilege. You can't speak anything about it. So much so, when we caught one of the MLA receiving money, they tried their own trial. They said he is not guilty, and the complainant is guilty. Fortunately for us, the case is now pending in the court. The charge sheet is filed. All that can be done. But what happened in the house? No, nothing. Take the other incident when the governor said that the present chief minister should prove his majority. We saw any number of television showing what's happening. Marshals being beaten up, police officer being manhandled, and in the background one channel played a music. Idene sabhyate, idene samskriti. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ನಾಯಕರದ್ದು, ನಮ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಚುನಾಯಿಸಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೋ ಅವರದ್ದು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ಅವರದ್ದು ಸಭ್ಯತೆ. ಅದು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಒಂದು ಪವಿತ್ರವಾದ ಜಾಗ ಅವರ ಲೆಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಹೊಡೆದಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು, ಒಂದು ಕಮಿಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಕಮಿಟಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದ ಪುರಾವೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. I think we got to raise above this. We have a right under the Constitution to form an association, express our views, not contrary to law, within the framework of law, raise our voice and talk. Don't look forward to always to find an Anna Hazare, a Jai Prakash Narayan. They come once in 20 years. Other times, all our feelings are pent up inside. We become cynical. I frankly, let me tell you, I did not know the consequences of this until I became a Lokayukta. I am 71 now. So only 4.5 years of my experience, or 4.5 years plus, I got 3 more months left, I'm not going to leave even one day out of that. I have learnt in life what is the suffering of the people, especially in the rural areas. South Canara comparatively can say It's a much more enlightened district. But if you go to Bijapur, Bagalkot, Raichur, Gulbarga, I will not be exaggerating if I say that their lives are no better than a village animal. The other day I was in Davangere and I saw in that day's paper in the district of Bijapur, one lady, the background looked like Sahara Desert, digging for one pot of water with her bare hands. And the article says that's the only pot of water she will have for the day, for the entire family. Can any one of us think in terms of that? Crores and crores of rupees have been given for various schemes. But money doesn't reach that place. There's no drainage. There's no drinking water. There's no electricity. There's no toilet system. There's no primary health center. There's no primary school. On record, you'll find it. All money would have been spent on that. Recently, about a year and a half back, Times of India published a report of the CAG saying that for the year 2007-2008, CAG has reported out of the lakhs of crores of rupees the government of India has released for the benefit of the rural poor. For 8 schemes only, like midday meal scheme, integrated child development scheme, drinking water scheme, Gram Sadak Yojanas, similar 8 schemes which is purely rural poor oriented. For 1 year, 51,000 crores of rupees is unaccounted for. No inquiry has been conducted till date. Our former Prime Minister, late Rajiv Gandhi, said in 1998 that out of every rupee that the government gives to a poor person, only 15 paise reaches that person in 89 or 98. We are in 2011. Corruption is not reduced. It has increased multifolds. Zeros have increased many folds in these values. What is the fate of this country? We have developed, no doubt about it. Internationally, statistically, we have developed. Our GDP has gone up. But whose GDP are we talking about? Does it include the GDP of 120 crore people of India? Or is there a contribution of those people in it? I read about a few months back. India has produced 39 multi-billionaires in the last 10 years. It is their income that contributes to the GDP, which is then told to be the GDP of India. Some cities have developed. Most of them have not developed. Some people have the right and the grit to demand their rights, but most of them don't have it. It is for them the governance should be there. We will manage ourselves.
नशीनों उठ बैठो वो वक्त करीबा पहुंचा है जब तख्त गिराए जाएंगे जब ताज उछाले जाएंगे खाक नशीनों उठ बैठो वो वक्त करीबा पहुंचा है जब तख्त गिराए जाएंगे जब ताज उछाले जाएंगे अब टूट गिरेंगी जंजीरें अब जिंदानों की खैर नहीं जो दरिया झूम के उठे हैं तिनको से नटाले जाएंगे अब टूट गिरेंगी जंजीरें अब जिंदानों की खैर नहीं जो दरिया झूम के उठे हैं तिनको से नटाले जाएंगे दरबार वतन में जब एक दिन सब जाने वाले जाएंगे कुछ अपनी सजा को पहुंचेंगे कुछ अपनी सजा ले जाएंगे